What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back. The Seahawks have selected Devon Witherspoon, defensive back from Illinois, with the 5th pick overall in the draft, their first selection in the draft. I absolutely love this pick. If you've watched some of my Seahawks videos from a while back, I did mention the corners. I talked about Witherspoon being a possibility for this team. You now pair Devon Witherspoon with Tariq Woolen, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, Julian Love in that secondary, and you have one of the best secondaries in the NFL now for the Seahawks. Would have loved Anthony Richardson. I love the upside there. And I do think Seattle could use some quarterback talent on the roster behind Geno, just in case that doesn't necessarily work out. But I think Witherspoon is a fantastic pick. 6'1", 180. I think at the Combine they measured him 6 feet, a little under actually. But ESPN has him at 6'1". Great size, great compliment to Tariq Woolen on the other side. And this is a guy that can come in and start day one. This isn't a project. Woolen we thought was going to be a bit of a project. He came in day one. Witherspoon is not. He's going to be a day one starter, I would think. Obviously, anything can happen. They have some good depth there with Mike Jackson and whatnot, too. So he'll have to compete. And Pete Carroll's always about competing. So I doubt he'll just be handed it. But I would expect Devon Witherspoon to start day one. The Seahawks have arguably one of the best corner duos in the league. You can come out here and tell me another one. I don't know. I'm not going through them all right now, but this is certainly one of the best corner duos in the league. What was the stat Mel Kiper said on ESPN? He allowed like one catch for -5 yards last year, something insane. Still had 3 interceptions despite barely being targeted. Was an All-American. Just a tremendous pick. Good speed, perfect size for a corner. Like I said, a perfect style complement to Tariq Woolen on the other side. I think they're going to play off each other tremendously. And don't underestimate how this is going to help the pass rush. All the talk about Seattle needed to take a pass rusher. And I would have loved Will Anderson. I wasn't wild on Jalen Carter. I would have been okay with it because I do think there is a lot of upside there. But we've talked about Seattle needing that pass rush improvement. You know what helps pass rush? Great secondary helps a pass rush. Witherspoon and Woolen are going to help guys get to the quarterback. And there's still plenty of draft picks left. Seattle's going to have another one here in a couple hours as well. So there's going to be time to add to the D-line as well. I think they need help on the D-line. I'm not saying this is just fixes everything. But watch Nwosu, Taylor, Moffet, some of these other guys get some more pressure now that you have got the secondary completely locked down. Seattle's got a great culture for building the secondary. They have a history with corners and making them work with later round picks like Richard Sherman, Byron Maxwell, Tariq Woolen. Even to an extent, a guy like Trey Flowers was competent converting from safety to corner. So for them to like a guy this much at corner to draft him in the top 5 shows you they think this is a guy that can be certainly just a huge impact player in Seattle from day one. So I know some Seahawks fans might be like, oh, they wanted Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's got some red flags, people. And I wouldn't have been against it. I would have been okay. There's a lot of upside to Jalen Carter. He could be a tremendous pro. Not knocking it. But there are some red flags. And you know Seattle's culture. If they're passing on it, then there's a pretty good bet, in my opinion, that it was valid for them to pass. Wilson, the defensive end from Texas Tech, was another guy I liked. I'll be honest, and I'm not a draft expert. I'm not. I'll get to that in a second. Wilson's a guy, though, I see some limited upside. I think he's going to be productive, but I don't know if I see him being an all-pro. Now, if you're down on this pick and you don't think this is a good pick, unless you've been studying film like crazy, and I haven't been, I have not. I'm not an expert on this, but be excited. This is a tremendous talent coming to the Seattle Seahawks. This now makes your secondary complete. And again, like I know there's maybe some other flashier picks they could have done there. And maybe they did like the quarterbacks. I imagine they really did like Will Anderson. And they probably did like Anthony Richardson. It would not shock me at all if they would have gone with one of those guys. But there's nothing you can do. They went before. It would have been great if Denver lost a couple more games, but they didn't. They finished at 5, and I think this is a great pick. And if you're feeling kind of like, oh, I wanted somebody else, just remember, like, we don't know anything. You know, there's all sorts of guys that we don't think are going to be great that turn out to be great. I'm telling you, go watch some Devon Witherspoon, watch the highlights. This is a tremendous player. I think people they want a more sexy pick, and they see Seattle's D-line and they go, oh my gosh, we need a convoy of talent on the defensive line, and they forget kind of about the secondary. But man, this secondary is going to be good. It's a good coaching staff with secondaries, and Woolen and Witherspoon at the corners. Not only is that a great corner duo, it's young and it is locked up for years to come. Great pick by the Seahawks. Yes, I'm biased. I'm going to be excited. I said I was going to be excited about who they picked. I would have been fine with Jalen Carter. I would have been excited about it. I think there's a lot of upside there. But I do think there's some serious risk. I'm not big on Will Levis. Could Will Levis be a good player? Absolutely. There's no question in my mind he could be. I would have been happy with that too. Outside of taking a long snapper or something, I was going to be fairly optimistic. I love this pick. I think this is really going to help. Obviously, it helps the defense, and I think you're going to be surprised how much this does help the pass rush. I'll be back later tonight with more Seahawks draft talk once they pick at 20, or if they move up or move down. Go Hawks, go Mariners. Hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Or not the comment button. Comment. Let me know what you think of Witherspoon, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Go Hawks.